Yeah, so this fight being super slept on, Katie Taylor versus Chantelle Cameron. This is for the undisputed super lightweight titles, 140 pounds. Katie Taylor, obviously heading into this one, is the favorite. But Bryan, how do you see this one playing out?
Her first fight in Ireland also, and being from Ireland, like that kind of surprised me a little bit. But a lot of her fights have been in England and whatnot, and obviously she's fought at Madison Square Garden and in Barclays Center multiple times. But this is a huge, huge fight. Her moving up in weight and fighting Chantelle Cameron, who's clearly the best at 140. And this is not a gimme to have. Like, this is not your classic hometown fight
Yeah,
where
no.
this isn't John Ryder, no disrespect, for example, right? We kind of thought Canelo would blow through John Ryder. That didn't happen, but he did win considerably. I don't think this is going to be that. But listen, Katie Taylor has put together one of the best resumes in boxing and in women's boxing. Now, some people may say, us included, that Amanda Serrano decision could have gone the other way. And Katie Taylor has also just sort of fought through a couple other very close decisions in her career. One of them being against Delphine Persoon. And then you also have, I believe there was one against Natasha Jonas that
Yeah.
was close, awfully close. It was a unanimous decision, but yeah, I'm looking at it right now. 96-95, 96-95, 96-94. And I thought Jonas could have gotten a draw there, but it was damn close. But still, this is a great fight. And this is the rare sort of 50-50 fight, like betting wise, or just about in
Yes.
terms of boxing, right? And she's moving up in weight. And Chantelle Cameron, she's going to have the power advantage, probably the size advantage. And this is her natural weight class. But look, I'm looking forward to this, Chantelle. Like, we don't often get these undisputed lightweight championship matches on the same day. We're about to talk about another one as well. But Katie Taylor was supposed to fight Amanda Serrano. That's not happening yet. Amanda Serrano is going to fight Heather Hardy later this year. And Katie Taylor's got a massive title shot on her hands in Ireland.
Yeah, that's the thing about it is it's in her hometown, right? To her backyard. So when you think about it, a lot more pressure for Katie Taylor than you would think for a girl like Chantelle Cameron, who this is her natural weight class and she's been the king of it, the queen of this weight class. And
Well,
you know,
there's a movie called The Woman King that came
hey,
out
that's what I'm
last year.
saying. Exactly. It was pretty fire.
Like
Did you watch it? Did you watch it? It was a
I
fire
heard it
movie.
was good. I did not.
You're
I'm
not a
not.
movie, you're not a movie guy. I totally know that.
Documentaries, you know what I'm saying? Comedies, video games, movies are like kind of down on the list. You know what I mean?
What I'm trying to say is Chantelle Cameron has been killing this weight class, and she's actually coming off a really impressive win against Jessica McCaskill. And that was actually a fight that I scored really close. I had it 96-94. I gave it to Chantelle Cameron, but I think she's extremely underrated coming into this fight, and she's also the underdog. And we're going to get into betting in just a moment. But yeah, I mean, she's a really good body puncher, nasty liver shots. I like how she can fight on the inside and fight on the outside. She also does have pop on her punches. So, yeah, the power advantage goes to Chantelle Cameron as well. And in this fight, I think against Katie Taylor, she has to keep her hands busy because what we know about Katie Taylor is, her work rate is probably going to be higher than someone like Chantelle Cameron. And when you think about toughness, mental toughness, and what they've both gone through, I kind of give the edge over to Katie Taylor just because all that went into Amanda Serrano and all the hype that went into it. Like that was a really, really big, massive platform that they fought on at MSG. And so when it comes to mental toughness, I kind of give the edge to Katie Taylor because I actually believe that she also has the better resume. And that's just me saying, looking at the resume, I give the edge over to, of course, Katie Taylor. But I also think Katie Taylor's been rocked before. I'm not saying she got dropped, but even in that Amanda Serrano fight, I was like, whoa, did
Yeah,
her knees buckle?
yeah.
So thinking about the power advantage that Chantelle Cameron has and the fact that we've seen Katie Taylor's knees actually buckle before, just keep that in mind. She's never been dropped, but it's something to also keep in mind that, hey, you know what? She's not someone that can't be dropped. It just seems like she's really tough and she recovers really, really fast in those moments, which I think has to be taken into consideration. And then you talk about the speed advantage that goes over to Katie Taylor as well.
Hmm.
She's also really accurate with her punches. My favorite punch from her is her nasty left hook. But at times, and I've mentioned this before when she was fighting Amanda Serrano, sometimes she leaves her body exposed. And we know that Chantelle Cameron is a good body puncher. So I think that's where she might get work. But that's kind of my breakdown of the fight, Bryan. Were there any last thoughts before we get into the whole Money Be Green section of it?
It's worth noting that Cameron has the youth here. She is a few years younger than Katie Taylor. She has also a meaningful height and reach advantage, which is interesting because Katie Taylor is, I think, an expert counterpuncher also. And she's somebody who is going to be able to use her speed here. But Chantelle Cameron has 3 inches on her in terms of height, 5'8" versus 5'5", and then the reach is 69 inches as opposed to 66 for Katie Taylor. And I think Cameron is going to try to use that and use the strength to her advantage, as you mentioned, fight on the inside, perhaps. But I think there's a room for her to even fight on the outside as well because of those physical advantages.
Yeah,
You
and
jump in
I
here?
don't I don't think Katie Taylor actually wants to bang on the inside. Like we've seen her struggle when she wants to bang on the inside. She likes fighting from a distance. But the thing about
Yep.
Chantelle Cameron, if she ends up trying to make this a fight on the inside, I totally give the edge to her. But the thing about it is she can fight on the outside too. Like that's how good she really is. So that's why I think this is such a 50-50 fight. It can go either way, and the odds actually reflect that. And so that's where we're going to get into Money Be Green. This is where we're going to let you know the best bets for this fight and how we're going to be betting.
Like money, motherfucker? Money be green. Money feel like money. That shit look green to you?
All right, on the money line, it looks like Vegas kind of has this a 50-50 fight as well. They got Katie Taylor a minus 180. Chantelle Cameron is the underdog at plus 140. But just looking at that line there, Bryan, it seems like, yeah, they're kind of thinking this fight could kind of go either way because it's not like Chantelle Cameron is a huge underdog.
And they're also telling you that they think Katie Taylor is going to win this fight on points, which she's done 16 times in her 22 fights of her career, right? So she's minus 135 to win on points. Chantelle Cameron, though, has a shorter sort of edge to win by knockout at plus 750, which I found very interesting. The books do not think Katie Taylor is going to win this fight by knockout. In fact, you have about the same odds as the same odds on betting a draw that you do with Katie Taylor knockout. Those are both plus 1400. Chantelle Cameron to win by knockout is plus 750. Now, Katie Taylor is obviously somebody who's never been knocked out, never lost, but as you mentioned, leaves her body open. What if the body punches accumulate? What if age just shows? Katie Taylor is, I believe, 36 at this point of her career, right? And again, a lot of times in boxing, as you're sort of aging out, I'm not saying Katie Taylor is, but just in general, as you're sort of aging out, people who beat you, younger, bigger, and stronger. And Chantelle Cameron has all those things in this sort of fight, in this advantage, right? But ultimately, for me, my knee-jerk reaction, which I'm going to get to in the next fight as well in terms of knee-jerk reaction bets. As soon as this got announced, Katie Taylor by decision was the one that popped into my head. It's just the safest bet here. And while I think it's going to be a very close fight because of everything we mentioned and Cameron's just ability to both fight inside and out, having those physical advantages, and being able to body punch, right? And being able to maybe limit Katie Taylor's movement by going to the body and perhaps doing that early and establishing those body shots. But I ultimately think that Katie Taylor's skill wins out. And I also think in a close fight, let's be real, this is in Ireland.
It's boxing, and it's boxing.
You know, and like I'm not saying that they'll conspire on behalf of Katie Taylor. I'm not gonna, that may be a bridge too far for me. This isn't gonna be a Tony Weeks and Rolly Romero potential situation.
No, I don't think so. Yeah. that was ridiculous.
That was pretty crazy. But I mean, listen, we were talking on the phone yesterday about just Oscar De La Hoya randomly and the buzz when he fought in LA and what the fans would be like when he would throw flurries, some of which didn't even land, and that potentially influencing the judges. I know as a Puerto Rican, when Miguel Cotto fought in New York City or in Puerto Rico, same thing with Felix Trinidad. Listen, you get a little bit louder for a jab. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And you saw this even at Madison Square Garden play out. Like, yes, there was a large Puerto Rican contingent. Hello, we out there. But there was a lot Irish fans, a lot of Katie Taylor supporters in that arena.
Lot. There was, I couldn't tell if it was 50-50 or more Katie Taylor supporters. It was wild. I wish I was at that fight.
Yeah. And I have a story about that, but we won't get to that on air because
I think I know about that story.
Yeah.
I know about that story. But anyways,
it'll piss me off reliving it, but that's fine. But anyway, I think ultimately Katie Taylor's skill wins out here. I don't think she's done yet at this elite level at all. I think it'll be exciting to see her fighting in Ireland too. I think that's going to give her a little energy as well. But I also think that listen, the crowd is going to be in the palm of her hand, everything she does. And as long as she boxes well and has a classic Katie Taylor performance, she should win this. Though I do probably expect to see 1 or 2 96, 94 scorecards because I'm expecting a close fight.
I'm expecting an extremely close fight where I could even see it being a draw. And that's something that I might want to sprinkle on. Actually, Bryan, what is the odds for a draw, if you don't mind looking that up for me? Because that's something.
1,400.
Ooh, okay. So that's something that I might want to sprinkle on just because I think this fight is so evenly matched. I think they're both going to have really good moments, but I think Katie Taylor, because it is in her backyard, and that could go two ways, right? It could either be that the pressure really gets to you and it's way too much for you, or you thrive in that moment. I think Katie Taylor is going to thrive in that moment because of everything that we've seen from her, from what she's done in her career. But I also think that she's going to stick and move. She's really good at figuring out the distance. She's good at controlling the distance. Sometimes I feel like she starts off a bit stiff, but then she gets into a rhythm and then it's like dangerous. It's like, Katie Taylor gets into a zone and then she starts going. I think Chantelle Cameron is going to have some big moments, but I think it actually comes down to work rate. I think Katie Taylor's speed is going to be that huge advantage and she's going to be landing nasty combos, that nasty left hook. And I think Chantelle Cameron, in order to win this fight, she's going to have to throw more, obviously, and use the double jab. She's going to have to throw the double jab a lot more in this fight. And against Katie Taylor, who's going to be sticking and moving, I really want to see how Chantelle Cameron is going to use her size to her advantage in this fight. Because if she does, and if her work rate is a little bit higher, because we know she's going to be throwing power punches, because when Chantelle Cameron actually throws power punches, she's throwing it with power, everything kind of with power. And, with Katie Taylor, you're going to see her be a little bit more elusive and have a high work rate and use that speed. So that's why I think it's going to be really close. I think it goes to the scorecards and it's going to be 96-94 to Katie Taylor. And she's going to end by unanimous decision. That's how I have it on FanDuel. When I last looked, it was a -135, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yes. Katie Taylor on points. Yeah. So we have the same thing. Now, before we get out of here, because we have another fight to talk about, I want to throw a couple specials at you, boxing specials. These are also on FanDuel, and they actually do a good job with this. DraftKings has some as well, but we'll stick with FanDuel's here because they generally have more options. And we did this last time, and look, if there were a couple of them that kind of played out with the Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia card, so they're not so sensationalized. This one I like because this goes into what we're talking about, and it's not like crazy value necessarily, but Katie Taylor to win and round 9 to start, -150. If you think Katie Taylor's going to win on points, that's all day. It's not like something that's, in the +300s or whatever the case may be, but so be it, right? Here's probably one that's my favorite that I will probably sprinkle on. Katie Taylor to be knocked down and win. +1,400 is interesting to me because, again, moving up in weight, Cameron's body shots, Katie Taylor having been wobbled before, and this is at +1,400. Interestingly enough, Chantelle Cameron to get knocked down and win +1,800, and again, she has shorter odds to win by knockout. So the books are telling you, listen, Cameron could catch her here.
And the thing is, Cameron has real power. She does have power, and she also has more knockouts than Katie Taylor as well. But I don't see Katie Taylor being knocked out. I just don't see it happening. But
a sprinkle.
Yes. So I'm going to shut up now because I've been wrong about sprinkles as of late. Especially
Canelo win on points.
I couldn't believe that. I was like, there's no way Canelo's going to, go into the later rounds against John Ryder.
In your defense, we both said sprinkle on Brian Mendoza to knock out Sebastian Fundora. Being one example of, one of these times, because there's been several that we've absolutely nailed, and there's been others that we haven't because it happens. But Katie Taylor +1,400 to be knocked down and win. Look, if you're putting $2 on that, you're getting damn near 30. You know what I mean? So
exactly. It's a good sprinkle. I actually like that sprinkle, but the mandatory, we want to know how you're going to be betting this fight. Drop some comments below. Also, if you like the video, if you like the content, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You can also stream us if you're going to be listening to this on the audio version. That's on, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If you got a little bit of time, leave a rate and review. But we got to